Hello and welcome. Today we'll be looking at examples of how to change the subject of formulas. Let's begin. Make h, which is the height, the new subject of this formula. Well, if you recall, this formula is the area of a triangle, so which is half multiplied by the base and multiplied by the height. So the first thing is that we want to look at all the component parts of the equation, particularly the right hand side. What is the relationship that exists between the variables and the numbers that are there? So this is like, we can write this as a is equal to 1 over 2 multiplied by the base multiplied by the height. So it's a multiplication that ties them all together, isn't it? So the first thing is that let's try and rearrange this. We can say this is half times base times height is equal to area. Okay, so let's try and make, because there's a fraction here, we want to make base and height also fractions. So this is same as half times base over 1 times height over 1. Okay, now they're all in fractional form. Okay, so this is the multiplication process that's here. So what we need is that we only want to leave h to be alone on the left side because we want to make it the subject of the formula. So we have to take care of half, and then we have to take care of what? The base. So half itself is a division. So it's a division of 1 by 2. So here we have a division. So to reverse this process, what do? We need to multiply. But what do we multiply with? Well, we need to multiply with a value that's going to cancel it out. So what is it that we're going to multiply half with? That will cancel out half. That is 2. So just multiply it with its reciprocal. So if we want to cancel out a fraction, multiply it with its reciprocal. Okay, reciprocal of half is what? 2 over 1. So 2 over 1 will cancel out and leave you with, so whatever you do to one side of the equation, you also do to the other side. So this is going to be what? 2 multiplied by half multiplied by base multiplied by height is equal to 2a. Okay, that's the first step. So these two cancel out, so we only have base and height. So the next step is that we have base times height. So the relationship between these two is one of multiplication. So if it's multiplication and you want to eliminate base, then what we need to do is to what? Divide this by the base. So b will cancel out the b, and all we'll be left with is h. So therefore, you want to do whatever you do on the left to also do it on the right. So we're going to divide these two by the base, okay, and also divide this by the base. So when you do that, the base cancel out, and what you have left is what? H is equal to 2a over b. Now what you have succeeded in doing is to make h the new subject of the formula. Now let's make r the subject of this formula. Now this looks a little harder than what we have just done, but if you apply the same process, it's always come out the same way. So first let's rearrange. So we're going to write this as 4 pi r cubed over 3 is equal to v. Okay, v is volume, so it's equal to v. So so the first thing here is that let's write them in their different component parts. So this is like 4 over 3 multiplied by pi multiplied by r cubed is equal to v. Okay, so what can we do to 4 over 3 to eliminate it from that side? Well, since this is a division of 4 by 3, we can multiply this by its reciprocal. Okay, so let's multiply this by, what's the reciprocal of 4 over 3? That's 3 over 4. Okay, so 3 will cancel out, 4 will cancel out, so we are left with 1. Okay. Okay, so but whatever you do to the left side, you also want to do to the right side. Okay, so that's 3 over 4 multiplied by 4 over 3 multiplied by pi multiplied by r cube is equal to v times 3 over 4. You don't want to forget that. Okay, so this will cancel out, and then the 4's will cancel out. So we are left with pi times r cube is equal to 3v over 4. Okay, now we're making progress. So what is next? We have pi times r cube. So to eliminate pi, what do we need to do? Because pi has a multiplicative relationship with the radius. So to eliminate pi, we need to divide. So we divide by what? By pi. Whatever we want to eliminate, that's what we divide by. So that's divided by pi. So the pi cancels out, isn't it? Okay, so let's divide this by pi. And we're also going to divide this side too by pi. Okay, let's create some more space. Okay, so the pi will cancel out here. So what we have is r cubed is equal to what? 3 over 4 times v all divided by pi. Well, which is essentially the same as 3 over 4 times v times 1 over pi. Okay, when you divide a number by, when you divide something by another number, the divisor, or which is the dividing number, is more or less like a multiplying with a fraction. Okay, so this is r cubed is equal to 3 over 4 times v times pi. So if you combine this is same as what? 3v divided by 4 pi. Okay, 3v divided by 4 pi. That's what we have. So now we have r cube on the left, but what we are looking for is just plain r, not r cube. So if you stop at this stage, then you are wrong. So we want to go forward. Remember, we use the reverse process. If you have a cube of something, a cube, how do you reverse the process? Well, it's like you can multiply it by 1 over 3, right? Multiply the power by 1 over 3. So if you multiply the power by 1 over 3, that leaves you with a raised to power 1. So what is the process of multiplying by the power of 1 over 3? That's cube roots. Okay, so we can take a cube root of a raised to the third power. So if we take a cube root of both sides, so take a cube root of this side, and then we take a cube root of that side. So that's going to give us what? R, because the cube roots will cancel out the cube. Okay, R will be equal to the cube root of what? 3v divided by 4 pi. Now we have succeeded in making r the new subject of the formula. Now let's make p the subject of this formula. So here we have 3p plus q is equal to 12 minus p. The first thing is that let's bring all the p's to the same side and all the q's to the other side. Okay, because what we need to make the subject of the formula is the p. So to bring p to the left side, we're going to add p to this side and also add p to that side. Okay, and if we do that, 3p plus p gives us 4p plus q is equal to negative p plus p is 0 is equal to 12. Okay, so that's the first step. So we also want to bring q to the other side, because only p, we want to leave only p on the left side. So we subtract q from this side, we subtract q from the other side. Okay, so what do we have left? That's 4p. Q minus q is 0, will be equal to 12 minus q. Okay, so we have 4p on the left, but we're not yet there. We only want p alone to be on the left. So the relationship between 4 and p is that of multiplication. To reverse it, we divide by 4. Okay, so we divide both sides by 4. We also divide this side by 4. So the 4 cancels out here. So what we have is p is equal to 12 minus q divided by 4. So now we have made p the subject of the formula. If you know q, then you can solve for p. So if q, for example, is 4, so 12 minus 4, that is 8. 8 divided by 4, that gives you 2. So we know p will be 2. How easy is that? So now let's make t the subject of this formula. So I, which is interest, is equal to principal times rate times time divided by 100. So what do we do? So, well, first let's write this as I over 1, turn it to fraction, is equal to what? PRT over 100. Okay? Over 100. Over 100. Okay, so once we have them both as fractions, we want to cross multiply. So we're going to have 100 times I. So 100 times I is equal to 1 times PRT. Okay, so if we rearrange, this is going to be PRT will be equal to 100I. Okay, so now we want to make only t the subject of the formula. So the relationship between PRT is P times R times T. So we only want to leave t alone, so we can divide by P times R. Okay, so divide this side by PR, divide the other side too by PR. So the PR cancels out on this side, and what we have left is t is equal to 100I divided by PR. So changing the subject of the formula is pretty easy. All you need to do is to use the reverse principle. If it's a multiplication, you divide. If it's an addition, you subtract. If it's a square, you take the square root. If it's a cube, you take the cube root. That's it on change of the subject of formula part 3. Thank you for watching.